Unit 3, page 25, listening. You will hear 5 different people talking about foreign languages. For questions 1 to 5, choose from the list A to F why each speaker learnt a foreign language. There is one extra letter which you do not need to use. Speaker 1.
When I retired, I suddenly found myself with too much time on my hands. Oh, I played golf and did some gardening, which are pleasant enough pastimes, I suppose, but I yearned to do something more challenging, something new. It was my daughter who suggested I learn a foreign language. I must say, it was an excellent idea. I'd always been an avid reader of Russian literature, so I thought, yes, I'll learn Russian. I'll read my favorite authors in the original language. Well, that was 3 years ago, and though I'm not as fluent as a native speaker, I can still enjoy Pushkin, Tolstoy, and Dostoevsky in the language in which they wrote.
Speaker 2.
There's a huge tourism industry in my country. In fact, it's the main industry, so it's vital to speak a foreign language in order to get a good job. However, there's so much competition in the job market these days that speaking one foreign language isn't enough. Just about everyone can speak English as a second language because we're taught it at school. So if you want to have a competitive edge, you really need to learn a second or even third language. Since so many Japanese people visit my country, I decided to learn Japanese. It was incredibly difficult because it's very different from European languages. Still, I persevered, and now I've got a great job.
Speaker 3.
It had always been my dream to study architecture, so that's what I did after secondary school. Whilst doing my bachelor studies here in Britain, I decided it would be very beneficial to go to Italy for postgraduate work. Problem was, I didn't speak a word of Italian, but I had to learn pretty fast. I figured the best way would be to combine traditional classes with frequent trips to Italy. Whenever I was there, I was very strict with myself and only spoke Italian. It's amazing how fast you can pick up a language when it's the only one you use.
Speaker 4.
I travel because of my job. I'm a journalist. And whenever I do, I'm amazed at how many people in other countries speak English. It doesn't matter if I'm in Peru, China, or Kenya. I always find someone who can, at the very least, get by in English. I suppose they have to, in order to communicate with tourists. But the thing is, no one back home speaks a second language. It doesn't seem fair somehow, does it? I mean, if you're going to visit another country, make the effort to learn a bit of the language. I can speak Spanish quite well, and people really appreciate it when I do.
Speaker 5.
When I met my husband, we were both students at university. He had come to the UK from Greece to study chemical engineering. His English was excellent. In fact, if it weren't for his accent, you wouldn't know he was a non-native speaker. Anyway, we got married and moved to Greece. Well, I'd learnt some Greek from Costas, but clearly it wasn't enough. I got myself into some pretty embarrassing situations in the first few months, I can tell you. Once I got the hang of Greek, though, everything was fine. I could even have a chat with his 90-year-old grandmother and gossip about her neighbours.